Let's go surfing now, everybody's learning how. Come on a safari with me.
Yes, so where we are on the Africa Twin CRF1000L. As you can see, it's a beautiful sunny day here in Yorkshire. I know a lot of people don't believe that, and a lot of people will also think that if it's a sunny day I should be out walking my whippet and having chips and gravy. That's a bit of a southern and northern joke, everybody. Yeah, so we're coming up to some straight bits up here, and what I'll do is when we get to those is I'll give it a bit of throttle and see what the acceleration's like. Again, guys, I will give it a bit of harsh acceleration, but as we all know, that's not what this bike's about. But it'll be nice to see. I'm guessing, I know if I came to look at a review on one of these bikes, I'd like to see some of its capabilities. Oh, fucking hell, why do they wear those outfits? Yeah, so like I say, when we get to these straight bits up here, I will give it a bit of a harsh acceleration. I'm not going to bounce it off the rev limiter, it doesn't need it. It's all about torque, and the best thing about this engine is how low down that torque is. I had a BMW which was equally a torquey engine, but the torque wasn't, or didn't seem to be as low down. So here we are, we're coming into a 60 mile an hour zone. I'm in third gear. And I'll wind it on now. I could have gone down into second at that point, so that's just half revs, and into fourth, and into fifth, and into sixth, and I really am covering some ground at this point, and I hope the helmet noise isn't too bad. But yeah, so now I'll slow down, and as you can see, yet again, it really gets up to 60 miles an hour. Pretty sharp. Yeah, so there you go. So, and that wasn't really giving it the beans, if you know what I mean. But when it gets from 30-40 mile an hour up to what could have been 100 miles an hour, obviously I stopped at 60, but that could have quite easily been up to 100 miles an hour with no drama. And let's be honest, in the real world out on the road, that's enough. It's good enough. It's fun. It gets you past traffic, and it does it with so much ease. I'm sat on the bike now, cruising along at 60 mile an hour in 6th gear, one hand on the handlebars, zero vibration, and extreme comfort. And now I'm coming off a bike that I found to be a bit uncomfortable. I know people have said this seat's not good after 2 hours in the saddle. I've done above 2 hours in the saddle on this bike, and it could well be my Yorkshire arse, or it could quite be the fact that it's horses for courses. And not everybody feels the same on every bike, but this bike for me is absolutely comfortable in excess of them sort of speeds, them sort of times. The transition, and again I apologise if this noise starts to get bad, but I'll slow down a bit to try and make it a bit easier. But the transition from sat to stood is that easy. It's actually one of the best bikes I've ever made that transition on. I'm still stood up now, and I'm going round bends, and my arms are lovely and light on the handlebars. My position's really nice and forward. You can move back and forward. It really is good. And that's another point, is when the bike does get uncomfortable, it does actually benefit you to be able to stand up on these bikes. If you start feeling a bit of fatigue, or even just a bit of a change in rider position, that transition from down to up is that easy. You can do it one-handed. And sit down one-handed. So yeah, it's really good, really good for that. And obviously it takes that fatigue then option to another level of being able to move around and stand around and sit back down when necessary. So yeah, so that's covered the acceleration off. Not to a massive point, but the bike's still relatively new. But you can see it does the numbers really well, and it does the comfort really well. This is the manual version, probably a really important thing to note. And the reason I got the manual is because I'm very old school in my ways. It's not because I'm against technology, it's not because the DCT is not a good bike, because everybody's saying how much of a great bike it is. I just like to change gear. Call it old, call it stupid, call it what you will. I like to have a clutch and I like to change gear and I like to make my decisions, and that's part of the enjoyment of riding a bike for me, is the changing of the gears and up and down the gearbox, and I like to do it. So, and that again, personal preference, what you go for out there. Both bikes are bound to be very, very similar as far as the riding characteristics, with the exception of the gear changing is done for you automatically with the DCT. I can't comment on that, I've never rid one. Like I say, this is just a manual bike. We've also got traction control, which is 3 stages, and that's highlighted on there with the 3 bars. And there's a little lever on the front of the handlebars here, and you knock it down, knock it down, knock it down, and then you hold it in to turn traction control completely off. You obviously need, or I'd suggest having it completely off for off-road, because as soon as your back wheel starts spinning on gravel, the engine cuts down. So if you're on a hill trying to climb up a muddy hill or a greasy hill, a gravelly hill, you really need all that traction to the wheel and not letting the engine take it away. It's also got a button on this side of the dash for the ABS, and that is basically on and off, but it's only off to the rear wheel, so your front wheel always has ABS on it, which is great because you don't want to be locking the front wheel up on the loose stuff. But it's nice to be able to lock the wheel up on the loose stuff, either to get your bike sliding, or just it gives you that element of control when you can lock the back wheel up, and it gives you the confidence that you realistically, unless things get really tough, you're not going to be locking the front wheel up and wishing it away from you. I know in the sit down bit, if I've not put it in, or I will put it in, I talk about the 50-50 nature of this bike, and that's exactly what it is. It does this great. It's cruising along 60 miles an hour, really nice and comfortable, and I'm not wanting to tear past all these cars. I ain't got that feeling inside of needing to get past everything that I see in front of me. It just does it nice. Now, I am a bit of a hooligan on bikes. Is that fair? No, I like to ride enthusiastically, and I know talking to you guys on this camera also makes you start concentrating on other things, but being honest about it, it does actually make you want to just ride, and ride for riding's sake, rather than scaring yourself and everybody to death. What I'll do now, if this road's clear, I'll make an attempt, if it is clear, to get past these cars so you can see that it does do the gnarly stuff as well, or the enthusiastic stuff. So I'll drop it down a few gears, hope it's clear when we get round this bend. We have a little bit, now I'll wait for this white van and then I'll show you. So we clear down to roundabout down there, wait for this white van to go past, and away we go. So as you can see, all torque and no drama, and straight past. I'm braking down for this roundabout. I'll leave it fairly late. If I brake now, get on them brakes really hard, down the gearbox, and into the roundabout, and leant over fairly well, as you can see. So it does do the riding stuff. It is a bit soft. It would benefit from me a change in suspension to be harder, especially when you're tipping it into things like this, but it's fine, it really is. And I know I'm trying to convince myself more than I'm trying to convince you at that point, but as you can see, it does do it. It does the speed, it does the getting it braked down. It's got a slipper clutch which is phenomenally good, because everybody will know that a twin cylinder has a hell of a lot of engine braking compared to your 4 cylinders. You can actually just bop it down the gearbox, and the slipper clutch stops the back wheel from locking up, so it kind of feeds that in nice. But you can get the back end feeling loose if you really abuse that system, which again, is really a really good system, and I'm fairly confident that everybody will benefit from that if they ride enthusiastically. Right, I don't know how long I've been talking for now, and I'm fairly confident I haven't covered everything off. But like I say, I'm going to take it off-road just on some light stuff, hopefully, and I'll get a little bit of video footage from that, and I'll have another chat there about it and about what accessories I've got on this bike, and yeah, so I'll catch you in proving I can count again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you in 2.